Welcome back to Battleship Systems. Today we're going over the compartment numbers of a battleship. Please check the errata page in the description. Battleships have more compartments than any other Navy ship, and for good reason. When enemy ships attack and shells penetrate the hull, some of those compartments are going to flood. It's all about subdivision on battleships. The main reason for interior subdivision is to limit the extent of water damage to the immediate vicinity of the damage. Let's talk about the main divisions first. A battleship can either be a 3-division ship or a 4-division ship. In a 4-division ship, there are two types of critical areas you want to protect in the hull. One is the boiler rooms, and the other is the engine rooms. Traverse bulkheads separate these divisions from each other and from the rest of the ship. Division A is from the bow to the forward traverse bulkhead of the boiler room compartments. Division B is for spaces containing boilers. Division C is for the engine room spaces. Finally, Division D is for the remaining space aft. If there is no separation between engine rooms and boiler rooms, you will have a 3-division ship. In a 3-division ship, B makes up the machinery spaces, which includes the boiler and engine rooms, and C is for the remaining section aft. There are many more subdivisions in a typical battleship that extend all the way up to the main deck. Speaking of decks, here are the typical decks of a battleship. From the bottom you have the hold, then second platform, first platform, third deck, second deck, then the main deck. Sometimes they also throw in a half deck. The superstructure decks varies by ship, but in the USS Texas it includes the superstructure deck, signal bridge, navigating bridge, flag bridge, and other similar platforms. In 1912, when the Battleship Texas was built, compartment numbers always started with the letter of their division, then a hyphen, then a number. Now I'm just guessing at how the Battleship Texas's compartments are numbered, so please check the errata page. The numbering seems to start from the lowest platform of the ship at the foremost compartment and extends aft until the end of the division. For example, we'll call this A1, A2, A3, all the way to A22. Then we'll start calling the compartments on the second platform A27 and end at A39. Continue this pattern until we get to the half deck where we start counting at 100. Then keep numbering compartments until we get to the last A-division compartment on second deck. Unfortunately, the main deck and superstructure decks don't get any compartment numbers. Now we'll move on to the 1930 style compartment numbering nomenclature. This covers the North Carolina class onwards. We again see the A, B, and C divisions, with B designating the machinery space, bulkheads, and all decks above it. And look, we now have a deck numbering system for the superstructure. These deck numbers always start with a 0. On ships without a third platform, the hold compartment number starts with 600, second platform with 500, first platform with 400, third deck with 300, and second deck with 200. Don't forget about half deck. It uses the 200 numbering scheme as well, but has an H placed after the division letter. Compartments are numbered starting from the port side. Let's start with the first platform on one of the Iowas. This is behind the machinery spaces, so will be the C division, and this will be on first platform, so our compartment numbering will be in the 400 range. Compartments on the starboard side have odd numbers, and those on the port side have even numbers. The 16-inch magazine will be labeled C401. This one C402, this one C403, this trunk will be labeled C404, and so on. You may have noticed some letters after the compartment numbers. This is to let you know the primary purpose of that space. M for ammunition magazine, T for trunk, A for storerooms, B for battery, C for control, E for machinery, L for living, and V for void. Trunks also have an interesting numbering scheme. Since trunks run vertically on ships, they traverse through multiple decks. They are labeled with the number of its lowest deck. For example, C502T shows up on the first platform because it starts down on the second platform. Main deck compartment numbers start with 100. You may notice that this entire compartment is technically designated A103L. That's because these compartments are not watertight. If A103L on the main deck happens to flood, all these rooms will flood along with it. On the O2 level, we see that the compartments have the O2 prefix for its deck number placed before the compartment number. This can get a little confusing because most of the superstructure is a trunk itself. Even though these compartments are on different decks, they are all still called A103L. You'll see compartment numbers written on bulkheads. These are called bullseyes. Let's try one. B368A. So the B means that we are in the center of the ship over the machinery spaces. The 300 series means we are on third deck. It's an even number, so we'll know that we're on the port side of the ship. The A lets us know that this is a storeroom. The 68 lets us know that we are close to other 360 compartments, but other than that, it doesn't help us. So if we look at our general plans for third deck, aha, B368A. In 1949, the Navy developed a completely new compartment numbering convention. The reason this new convention is important to understand is because the Iowas were reactivated after 1949, allowing the Navy to renumber the compartments. Before you can understand this new numbering convention, you have to understand about ships' frames. Battleships have many traverse frames that are connected by a bulkhead to make up the compartment. The frames are each 4 feet apart. Over 200 of these frames make up the structure of the battleship's hull. Frame numbers increase sequentially aft from the forward perpendicular, or where the waterline crosses the forwardmost section of the hull. We can get a pretty accurate location on the ship by referencing frame numbers. The Navy now numbers the ship's decks with numbers, 1 being the main deck and increasing for every deck below it. This compartment on the hold is now called Deck 7. The forwardmost bulkhead of this compartment intersects with frame 12, so that's our first 2 numbers. Compartments that pass through the ship's center line use 0 as the third part of the compartment number. Compartments not on the center line will start with the centermost compartment on the starboard side beginning at 1. The port compartments will get an even number. The last part of the compartment number is the letter that identifies the compartment's use. So 7683V. We know that we are 6 decks below the main deck and that the forwardmost bulkhead is at frame 68. The 3 tells us that we are on the starboard side and that there is 1 more compartment between us and the ship's center line. Then finally we learn that we really shouldn't be in this space at all because it's a void. That's a lot of information from just 1 bullseye. What the new compartment numbering system doesn't tell us is where we are in relation to the ship's machinery spaces. That is why you'll see Iowa-class battleships have both the new and the old numbering system on their bullseyes. So what system do you think is better? The pre-1949 numbering system or the new numbering system? Let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Well, that's all you need to know about battleship compartment numbers. In lieu of donations to me, please consider donating to a battleship museum like the Battleship Massachusetts. There's a link in the description that'll bring you to the USS Massachusetts Memorial Committee website where you can donate to the nonprofit organization. Don't forget to put Battleship Massachusetts in the notes of your donation so your money will go to the ship. Thanks for watching.